to lead.
You have to kind of work twice as hard.
Good morning, Africa. It's March 8th year in Nigeria and reaching your live from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It's the conversation on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African network. And guess what? It's International Women's Day across the world, and the theme for this year is Choose to Challenge. We're going to be having conversations based off of that a lot later. I am Ade Sawasi.
And I am Merciful Lajinamo.
All right, before we continue with the show, allow us to bring you the quote of the day. That was a quote by Margaret Thatcher. It basically says if a woman can understand how to build a home, she definitely, can understand how to build a nation. All right, having said that, we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, we're going to be taking you through happenings and story from across the African continent. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Moving straight into development across Africa, starting from Congo, where a non-profit social enterprise is concerned about the protection of human rights in the forthcoming Congo election. A non-profit social enterprise Paradigm Initiative has demanded respect for rights during election in Congo. This was contained in a press release by its communication officer Valerie Njaba. Now, the Paradigm Initiative is a non-profit social enterprise that builds ICT-based support system, and it has not only advocated for digital rights and inclusion in Africa, but also noted that the Republic of Congo will organize elections on 9th March 2021, that's tomorrow, and in the context of this election, it is concerned about the protection of human rights.
And moving on, we have news from Africa still. So we're talking about Ebola and health. 2 African countries, Guinea and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, have reported 29 Ebola virus cases and 13 deaths so far. The African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Saturday said Africa CDC, the specialized healthcare agency of the 55-member African Union, reported a fatality rate of 45% in the 2 countries. So far, DRC has reported 11 cases, 4 deaths and 2 recoveries, while Guinea has confirmed 18 cases, 9 deaths and 2 recoveries, it said. New outbreaks of the deadly Ebola virus disease in the 2 African countries are sending new jitters to Africa as the continent is still grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2014 to 2016 West Africa Ebola virus outbreak claimed over 11,300 lives.
Yes, that's quite sad because, people had said, or the world has said, Africa isn't very much hit, with casualties as it relates to COVID-19. But now we're having to having to worry about Ebola side by side
with COVID-19.
That's quite terrible. And I hope it does not calm down.
Really do hope.
Results, with combating COVID-19. All right, moving over to Senegal, bringing you updates about the, protests in Senegal. A teenage student has become the 5th victim who died in Senegal during protests that followed the arrest of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko on Wednesday. The student was killed on Saturday in clashes between demonstrators and security forces in the southern city of Darbe. Protesters had reportedly tried to burn down official buildings in the city. Mr. Sonko, who is 46 years old, appeared in court on Friday, and he was accused of disrupting public order. He's also facing a rape allegation. He, however, denied the allegation, and his supporters said the accusations are politically motivated, hence the protest in Senegal. On Friday, following the violence in the capital, Dakar, and elsewhere, Interior Minister Antoine Felix Abdoulaye Diome vowed to use all the means necessary for a return to order in Senegal.
Well, we really pray that everything comes back to normal in that country.
Exactly.
Everything. So we move on to Nigeria here, where Senior Special Assistant to President Buhari on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, has dispelled fear and misconceptions surrounding COVID-19, saying that the jab taken by President Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has no side effect. He said, and I quote, in response to press inquiries, I'd like to assure all citizens to dispel fears and misconceptions about the safety of the vaccine administered on President Muhammadu Buhari and the Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo earlier this morning. After he got his jab, the president felt normal and went about doing his job. If there are side effects that follow, we will be open about that. But so far, there is nothing of a side effect, serious or mild, on the president. He is carrying on as normal.
That's normal. That's quite interesting, though. But I think, Ghana started rolling out vaccination, I think, sometime last week. And then they came out to say that, well, while you take the jab, it has some mild side effect. You could feel a little bit nauseous for the first 24 to 48 hours. You could feel a little bit feverish and nauseous. And quite a number of things that they listed out. And it's just trying to tell you, if you feel any of this, don't worry. It's normal. It comes to getting the vaccination.
The whole fear, it started before they started rolling out the vaccines, like weeks before now, where people on social media were like, okay, you may have side effects and whatnot, the fears and everything. But looking at the presidential vaccination program, which is showed on national TV, and them administering the vaccine to him, so Nigerians can see it. So now he's telling them that it's fine. We can go about, taking the vaccine and everything. Okay. So anyone who's having fears about the side effects is safe because they're like, okay, he's taking it and nothing is happening.
Nothing's happening. But on a lighter note, I think I saw something on Twitter, reactions to getting vaccination, and somebody said, let's just watch them for 3 months.
For 3 months, yeah, like, that's really funny. Like,
and so what happens before we start taking the vaccine? That was quite funny. All right, talking about COVID-19 vaccinations, let's bring you our COVID-19 updates from across Africa. Welcome back. That was COVID-19 update from across Africa. And as I always tell you on the show, COVID-19 is still a source of concern across the world, and Africa is inclusive. So take precautions, wear your face mask, guys, wear your face mask, sanitize. And if your country has started rolling out vaccines, please get vaccinated so we can have, herd immunity against COVID. We don't have to worry about COVID in 2022. Let's beat it in 2021. So just take, proper precautions so we can forget about COVID this year. Having said that, we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, we're going to be taking you through newspaper headlines from today.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some of them sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igboneja, and I am the
still the conversation, and we move straight to newspaper reviews, and we begin with Blueprint. On the main page, we see the big story is 2016 audit report. NNPC didn't remit 4 trillion naira into Federation account, and we see underneath it some spent in subsidy, pipeline repairs, and product losses. NNPC is saying Senate summons PAMSEC over misappropriated 2 billion naira by Solid Minerals Ministry. SERAP seeks details of 25 billion naira CBN overdraft loans to federal government. Now you can find the Blueprint. Well, if we just go down, we see our NAF fighter general bandits again, killed many in Kaduna State. And underneath saying we won't shut down Kaduna Airport over kidnapping, federal government of Nigeria is saying. And still downwards, how food blockade would have destabilized Nigeria, says Kogi government. And IWD, International Women's Day, protect women from harassment, NLC tells federal government, Nigeria Labour Congress. And we also see Buhari, Tinubu celebrate Osinbajo at 64. That can be found on pages 5 and 7. And police kill 4 suspected sea pirates, recover 4 AK-47 in Akwa Ibom State in Nigeria. That can be found in page 7. And when we just go up the newspaper, we can see Dangote Cement emerges Africa's best performing firm. And underneath we see crude price hits almost 2-year high at $68.55 billion. You can also see just underneath the Blueprint there, COVID-19 update. No vaccination, no foreign travels, federal government declares. Presidency insists Buhari hail and hearty after jab vaccination. SGF, PTF members to receive vaccine Monday, which is today, and that can be found on page 5.
All right, moving away from the Blueprint newspaper to the national economy, I'm going to be starting from the very top. Nigeria's gas reserves can sustain West African country. That's according to, the newly appointed Nigeria Gas Association, newly appointed president of the Nigeria Gas Association, saying Nigeria has abundant gas reserves. Moving away from that, federal government's dilemma on subsidy purchase as oil price is $70 per barrel. That story is continued on page 4. Moving over to the bottom of the picture of the day. Attack. We won't shut down Kaduna Airport. That's something from plan. That's on page 4. And the last headline on the national economy this morning says Naira for dollars will attract more investment to Nigeria. That's coming from the CBN, and that story is on page 5 of the national economy.
Okay, moving over to Daily Trust. First story there is Accountant General. The sublines, subheadings, despite clocking 60, Accountant General FRSC boss still in office. And underneath says overstay contradicts civil service rules. There is nothing wrong, says the Labour Minister. And just downwards the newspaper, OPC raises settlement, kills woman, arrest blind Fulani leader. And we can see pressure mount on the federal government to reopen Kano Airport International. That can be found on page 3. And just beside it, 35,000 killed, 2 million displaced in Boko Haram war, says Borno government. And 4 headers shot dead, cows stolen in Anambra attack. That can be found in page 7 on the Daily Trust. And just top of this newspaper, Osinbajo reliable, competent deputy, says Buhari. And side by side is 4 bandits killed, rifles recovered in Kaduna State. We also see special pullout on International Women's Day that can be found on the Daily Trust.
Moving over from the Daily Trust to the Daily Times, I'm going to be starting from the very top as well. Nigeria, Morocco signed memorandum of understandings on hydrocarbons and agriculture. And the rider under that says NCDMB, NNPC to take equity in ammonia plant. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Times. Moving over to the very leading headline of the Daily Times this morning. Banks new customers over incentive policy on diaspora remittances. That's on page 2. Innovation Challenge. 15 teams emerge regional semi-finals in Nigerian Content Science and Technology Innovation Challenge. That's on page 3. And on kidnapping, Afenifere others kick as police arrest OPC members who nabbed alleged kidnapper. That's on page 4. And the last one, which is on page 2 of the Daily Times, says it's on corruption. It's a PDP task Buhari to speak up on alleged allocation of 1.6 trillion naira properties to crooners. All of that is on the Daily Times this morning. If you're interested in any of the story, get yourself a copy of the Daily Times newspaper.
Okay, we move over to the leadership newspaper from the Union. So, money transfer firms to drive the Naira for dollar scheme, and police will reduce costs. Check round tripping, says CBN. The big story is Ngota's death signal unexpected changes in Supreme Court that can be found on page 7. And underneath, Justice orderly to become second in hierarchy as Justice for retired March 22nd. That can be found in the leadership newspaper. You can also see talking about the International Women's Day. Women's Day focuses on equal future in COVID-19 world. That can be found on page 2 of the leadership.
All right, that's the much we can take on newspaper headlines for this morning. If you are interested in any of this story, which I think you should be, you should be fully abreast with everything happening in the country as of today. Get yourself a copy of any or all of this newspaper that I've read out to you this morning, and you can also check out these stories on our website www.tostvnetwork.com, or follow us across all social media platforms. It's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, having said all of that, we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, I will be taking you through what is trending on social media. Welcome back. Now I am going to be taking you through what is trending on social media, and guess what has been trending? It's no other than the International Women's Day. It has been trending for most parts of the week. Now, the International Women's Day is a day, that represents the historic path that women all over the world are taking to improve their lives. It's a reminder that even though so much has been achieved, there's, yet so much to be done. And in that regard, I'm going to take, a few tweets to that regard. The first one is from Hanam Dizzy. She says, I used to love International Women's Day, but a year into the pandemic, I feel hollow looking at many International Women's Day 2021 events. Where is paid sick leave? Where is paid maternity and parental leave? Where is publicly funded childcare? These are the things that create gender equality. Gender equality is goal 5 of, the Sustainable Development Goals. We're supposed to, achieve or be close to gender equality as at 2030. And it seems as though we aren't even, close to that, halfway into that. And then this other one is from @nature_org. Women are making history, and it is important we elevate the women doing conservation work so that other women will realize I can do that too. Hashtag International Women's Day, hashtag Women's History Month. Under that saying we can't save the planet without women. Quite interesting read. And then this other one is from Marling L08. Happy International Women's Day. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them and raise them. Hashtag International Women's Day. And the last one is from @Miss Ibia. To all the women and girls, always remember your womanhood is not for the world to define or quantify. Your womanhood is not for the world to subdue or commodify. Your womanhood is yours and you matter. Happy International Women's Day. Mercival, I think you should say Happy International Women's Day.
I mean, I've told it before, but I'll keep saying it.
Yes, please. So say it now. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you very much.
To everyone out there, Happy International Women's Day. To those who are fighting for equality, to those who we are fighting for, and to all women over the world.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, having said that, happy International Wednesday to every woman out there from Africa, Nigeria, Africa, and the rest of the world. We have achieved so much, but yet there's still so much to be done. And, that's what we're advocating for. The theme this year is choose to challenge, and we're choosing to challenge the norm, the status quo. It's, see what, we can do this. So we can't be limited and, boxed in a corner. We have to, come out and do so much for the greater good. Having said all of that, we're going to go on a break. And when we come back, it'll be time for the big story.
You're welcome back. It's still the conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, and we're going ahead to the big story. And of course, we're talking about International Women's Day 2021, and we're talking about women leading change in politics and governance. More than 25 years since the adoption of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action that recommended 30% affirmative action for women participation in politics and decision-making, progress towards equal power and equal rights for women remains elusive, and no country has achieved gender equality. This is according to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. In Nigeria, the National Gender Policy recommended 35% affirmative action instead and sought for a more inclusive representation of women with at least 35% of both elective, political and appointive public service positions respectively. Now, Dame Virginia Ngozi Etiaba, CON, is the first and only female governor in Nigeria's history. There are only 7 female senators in the 9th National Assembly of the 109 available slot. Just 7 senators it is. Well,
it's quite pathetic, but yes.
So even though women's representation in politics has more than doubled globally, it still has not crossed the barrier of 25% of parliamentary seats in 2020. Women's representation among cabinet ministers has quadrupled over the last 25 years, yet remains well below parity at 22%. Joining us on the program this morning to discuss how women are getting ready to lead change in politics and governance is co-founder of Elect Her, Abosede George Organ. Good morning, Abosede. Happy International Women's Day, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and happy International Women's Day.
Yeah, same to you. So firstly, we would like to know, what is Elect Her doing to mark the 2021 International Women's Day that we're commemorating today?
So we're doing a number of things. March 1st, launched Agenda 35. So Agenda 35 has 3 main agenda points. One you already mentioned, which is that the National Gender Policy recommends 35% women's representation in elective and appointive office. So one of our agenda points under Agenda 35 is to advocate for a constitutional amendment to actually legislate a 35% gender quota. So that's one thing. The second thing is Agenda 35 is also a $10 million fund that will directly support 35 women to run for office in 2023. And then finally, we need to sensitize the citizens to get ready to elect her across all levels. This is important because the leadership people have known for many years is male. So it's important that people are sensitized. Know that when you see a woman on the ballot and she's your preferred candidate, it's okay to vote her. So Agenda 35 is one of the things that Elect Her has recently calling on is a way you can play a role. And then the second thing is, yesterday we launched an art exhibition titled Obinrin. As you know, Obinrin means woman in Yoruba language. And it's a whole collection from 10 artists across Nigeria who have expressed in different mixed media forms what women's leadership means and looks like. So mean, then we're going to be having an event at the end of the month as well. But I mean, I think that most importantly, in line with the International Women's Day theme globally, which is choose to challenge, we as elector are choosing to challenge the underrepresentation of women across all political and governance levels in Nigeria.
Okay, speaking about, challenging the underrepresentation of women in political seats in Nigeria, I think I was having a conversation at one time, and somebody did tell me that it's one thing to advocate for women, to be at the helm of affairs, but it's another thing for the women to actually be interested in taking, these political positions. So how would you say women in Africa are prepared, regarding political participation, in Nigeria and in Africa generally, considering the data that we have?
Exactly. So you're right. This is not, which is what is very interesting. This is a challenge that actually spans the entire Africa, because we're not doing great in terms of the average, right? So we recognize that women ideally don't raise things, right? So in our fourth approach, engage. The second is encourage, right? Because the status quo does not, inspire women. The boys' clubs. So what we've done in the context of Nigeria is that we have launched a national recruitment platform called. Today, if you were a woman interested in running for elected office, you can actually join the site. It's also a everyone there is inspiring, aspiring to run. And I think women, the fact that you're friendly, have this interest of you're not sure your husband, you're not sure what the people around you who reinforce stereotypes of patriarchy would say. But immediately you come into this network, you're sure that everyone is on the same journey. It doesn't matter if you want to run now or in future.
Okay, concerning what you just said now, yesterday, Honorable Ukeje Nena Elendu Ukeje she's a 12-year member of the House of Representatives and two-term chair of Foreign Affairs Committee. She said during an online program tagged GlassCon 2021, and I quote, "To win an election in Nigeria as a woman, you need a strong male base." Now, can you comment on that?
So male allyship is something that is very critical, right? And I don't think that we are confused about it. If you think about it, like you shared a few stats ahead, please, can you take some time to imagine a chamber, right? Whether it's the Senate chamber that has 109 members with only 7 women. Can you please take some time to imagine a chamber of House of Representatives members that has 360, but only 11 occupied by women? What is my point? The power is with the men. So we need men allies to be able to ensure that we get more women elected. We need men to mentor women. We need men to sponsor women, right? In the context of like job role sponsorship, right? We need men, women, the support that they need across all levels to run for. So I don't think we're shying away from male allies, and it's important. I think it's critical.
Okay, but wouldn't that now be how possible is that having men mentor women as to taking political seats, especially in Nigeria, where we do know that a lot of men don't even think women should be involved in politics, and then when women are involved in politics, it seems as though it's misplaced priority and it's a sort of competition. How possible is that to have male mentorship for this kind of women?
So I think there are a few things that we need to be pointing out.
Okay.
First of all, women taking positions of power and decision making, evidence shows, is beneficial to all.
Okay.
So I think that it's important to begin to create platforms for this dialogue to happen. Obviously, the people has been men have dominated in the political system. So when you want to say to them, women should campaign, as you know, humans, and when humans have a sense of loss, we take it personally. But I think we need to frame the conversation differently. This is about nation building. This is about development, sustainable development. And the evidence points to importance, similar to what they say about the boardroom and profit increasing up to 30%, more than 30%. I mean, that's a simpler conversation, right? Because it's measurable. But the same vein, the evidence points to the fact that when you have women in the office, right, alongside men, they are able to come up with law and everyone in society. The political system becomes representative of people in society. And bear in mind that these men were born by women and have sisters and daughters. So I think that sometimes the way that we frame the conversation, and perhaps we need to start to frame it differently, so that we can bring men to the table to really have the conversation that is important and is not influenced by religious forces.
Okay, you have said a bit about what Electa is doing, to sort of, direct young women's attention to politics and everything. Now, what do we need to do, as a country to have an informed electorate, so that the narrative of who controls the money and the violence, of course, will be gradually or likely fade away in our elections?
So I think that the social awareness and consciousness has started. And I think that the NSAS protest played a critical role in sort of getting the citizens to be more alert around this. And so that I think that's a good start. Now, building on that, the question is, what do we bring before the citizens? And we make a really good about the fact that we're still playing money politics. So as you are aware, Nigeria is currently undergoing an electoral amendment process. And I think that the process and the outcome will be really critical in sort of shaping the next election. That's important because right now, one of the proposals as part of the amendment is actually to put a cap on candidate expenditure. Right? So it happens, and that would be great because then it creates a more level playing field, especially at the party level. So why that is important is then you will have more people come out and hopefully more women as candidates, right? And then the citizens start to see what it looks like for a woman to even campaign. Because think about it, most election cycles, the ratio of male to female candidates is about like 1 to 5 or more. So, citizens need to understand. And by the way, something I should say is, based on the 2019 record of who voted, women contributed 47% of the voters and registered voters. So it's important to know that women are voting men. Right? And capturing both the men and women who vote will be critical. But in terms of what we need to do, I think we just need to show them that women can lead. And they play a role in ensuring that women get in.
Okay, before we let you go, having said all of this, you did mention that women would rather vote men than actually vote women into, political seats, right? What can we as women begin to do now to ensure more women participation in politics, first of all, before, looking towards taking political or leadership positions? What can we as women start to do in that regard?
So, I mean, that's a brilliant question because one of the things we're doing is starting early so everyone knows the role that they play. And, think about politics and women becoming leaders as a value chain, right? So what can you do? You can support a woman, right? When she comes to tell you as a friend that she's thinking about running, you can sit with her and share from your expertise, whether communication, right? Whether that's fundraising, whether that's coming up with a project with right? So it's super actually going granular here because oftentimes when people think support, they think it's money, but it could be your time, it could be your skill, right? So support a woman in that regard, you can also fund the woman, or at least start a fundraising drive for her. GoFundMe and all these platforms have made it much easier, right?
Yes.
Can help her introduce her to people, right? So that you might have relationships that she doesn't have. So you leveraging your social capital for that woman could be the edge that she has, right? And then you can also be part of her community, right? Again, do whatever it is that you do in your political step. So there's so much that women themselves can start to do to support them, to ensure that we have the right momentum ahead of 2023.
Thank you so much, Abosede, for joining the show this morning. Thank you. That was quite an insightful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was great to be here. Enjoy the rest of it.
You too.
All right. Thank you, guys, for joining the show this morning. And I will tell you that today being International Women's Day, you do everything and anything to choose to challenge, challenge the norm, challenge the status quo, challenge everything that you think that, could be challenged, or anything that you feel as though would want to box you up into a corner. I feel like as women, I believe that as women, as African women, we can do so much. We have so much capacity and capability. So choose to challenge today being International Women's Day 2021.
Yeah, I choose to challenge as well.
We choose to challenge. We have to achieve gender equality.
So many things to talk about.
We have to reduce inequality. Gender equality cuts across genders, but today we're focusing on women.
On women,
so, the focus.
We should grow beyond talking about people based on their gender.
Yes.
So people should be treated based on the value they bring to the table, based on what they have to offer, and not just men, women. So there's so much to talk about, but I choose to challenge the norm, I choose to challenge the status quo, and I believe that there's, better things ahead for women and men in this country and in the world.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much for joining the show this morning. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation across our social media platforms, TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also check out our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. Also, follow and subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube for amazing lineups of programming that we have for you on there. As we join the cutting on today's show, here is a special report for you to watch on International Women's Day 2021. I am Adesi Welsi.
And I am Merciful Ajinamo. Thanks for watching.
My mom prays with me and my brother, gives us a bath, brushes my teeth, and gets us ready for school. She cooks our food. She helps us get ready for school. She takes care of us. And she helps us with our homework. Well, she cooks food for me all the time. She helps us get ready for school. She takes our bath, and she helps us with our homework.
And then she does everything she did yesterday again.
She cares about us even when we are naughty.
When I started having my children, it became a very daunting task.
Being a woman could be a bitter-sweet experience. Is the story of the African woman well told? Pre-colonial Africa is full of legend of women who were queens, like Queen Amina of Zazzau, now Zaria, queen sisters, princesses, chiefs, and holders of offices in villages, and even warriors. The stories of these space sitters seem lost in modern literature and history, where the African woman is portrayed as submissive, to be seen, not heard.
I think it's really a great time to be female, but it's also a fantastic time to be African. And of course, you can preempt why I'm saying that. Only a few days ago, we had our first African female resume work as the Director General of the World Trade Organization. The first time ever that an African is occupying that office, and the first time also that a female is occupying that office. So it says a lot that it's not just the first time that it's female, but it's the first time that it's an African female.
This historical mischaracterization has fed to preference for the male child in Africa. The male child is preferred across all ages, walks of life, and educational levels.
I come from a family of 5 girls. You know, way back, then it was a big deal to not have a boy.
The story of the African woman now is that of submission. Women and girls are relegated to informal and domestic jobs.
I'm somebody who is highly confident of myself and the value that I bring to the table. I know there's not a lot of people, other people who really can say that, because discriminations have happened to a lot of people. Relationships have occurred that